Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to another episode of Ferris Makes Emulators. Was away for about a week, a little over a week, but now I'm back in my lovely Oslo apartment, and I'm tired. But I think this is going to be a fun episode. By the way, the tracks I was just playing were just a couple tracks from Logicoma. Particularly the most recent one was our Mine and Wobbles entry for Tursock. That was pretty fun, so I hope you like it. Anyway, CPU fuzzing. So the idea is that there's bugs in the emulator still. In case you missed the several weeks of bug squashing that only ended up fixing not the bugs we were after. But at least did something right. I'm starting to suspect the CPU again. And I've gone through the instruction code so many times now. Like a lot of times by hand. And I'm starting to think that that's not really going to be very effective. There's also, granted, a few things that aren't implemented, particularly with floating point exceptions. But I have a feeling that that's not what is making the games break. I think that that's going to be really unlikely. In fact, I'd be surprised if any of the games even enabled such exceptions. So I'm thinking that a really good way to look into fixing this is to generate some random sequences of instructions. And that's what I mean by fuzzing. So I want to generate big blobs of a bunch of instructions, have the real hardware run those. So what I want to do is I want to set the registers to some known values, run this big binary blob. When I get out of this, I want to pull all the registers out of it again and just see if they match. Now there's some issues with doing this. Particularly, you can't just throw a random sequence of bytes at it. I mean, you would get something out. But especially with a RISC-like CPU like this, alignment's going to be pretty important. I don't want it to hit... Sorry, excuse me. There's going to be a lot of stuff with like invalid opcode trap exceptions. Again, the floating point stuff. I kind of like to avoid all that and do something a little more focused. So what I think I want to do is actually take the datasheet and go basically one by one for all the different kinds of instructions that we could have. So generate a random instruction, or just for x, or for x times generate a random instruction, or for n times generate random instruction x, and then just output that, and then that'll be our blob. So for all the different kinds of instructions, for example, we'll have different kind of parameters. So it'll be basically, it's kind of like a backwards emulator where instead of decoding the instructions and executing them, we're just going to be encoding random ones. I want to, for the first round of this, I want to avoid branches and I want to avoid floating point stuff. And I think, I have a feeling that this will actually work out pretty well. Like the worst case with this is that we don't find anything again. And the nice thing about this is that given a random seed, we have some kind of regression test that we can basically make. So in particular, what I want to do is build some kind of test ROMs that will, again, set up the registers to some known states, run the blob, and then pull the register values out. Then I want it to actually put them on the screen, sort of write out what all the different registers were at the end of this process. The reason I want to do that is that it would allow me to quickly look at the output of the actual hardware just by visually checking that everything is correct. And then with the way that the emulator itself is bootstrapped, we can totally just run the core for like 2 seconds, for example. So we can load it all up and then run it for 2 seconds of emulated time. So that would actually probably be a lot faster than 2 seconds. And just not output any of the audio and video. And then at the very end, we just take the last frame that the emulator output and just like save that as a PNG on the disk. And then we can use that as a regression test pretty easily. And I've done that when I was doing the Super Nintendo stuff. That was a pretty good way to do it. So I think it'll be pretty good. And I think that one of the things I don't want to do, as you mentioned, RepNop, is I don't want to just generate a bunch of these random sequences for each instruction. I want to generate like one ROM with a seed that contains all the different instructions. So I don't want to have too many tests because I think that'll add to the like maintenance burden. Like if halfway through I decide, oh, I actually want to test a little bit of a different way, I don't want to go through and change a bunch of tests because I don't think we need very many. Just like, I don't know, 5 or something from different seeds, maybe. Just hopefully gonna find something different between the hardware and then the real system. And when we do, because I'm fairly convinced we will, then I can sit there and say, oh, well, what if I do one that's half the length? Do we still hit a bug? And then try and sort of binary search until we get no discrepancy, and then figure out what exactly was different. So that's currently what I'm thinking. There's a few details, though, about how the pieces fit together that I'm not entirely sure about. But I think it'll work pretty well. Yeah, you can control every pixel individually on left and right screens. Why do you ask that, Mad Moose? Because like we could do a more compact output there, but then I'd have to read it from the actual hardware. So I'm just thinking to do some text stuff because there's not that many registers, and that's really all I care about. By the way, how do you guys in the chat? Metal Voids, Cluwash, Lux Online, Dark Second, Ratchet, Drew 2, Baggers, Mad Moose, Skeleton, Mortaray, Love Like Semtex, Repnop, I didn't, but I've known about Mad Moose QR codes. Yeah, that's actually clever. Yeah, Repnop, I didn't actually know about that test ROM set, but yeah, I've known that fuzzing is a good idea for a long time. Particularly, you actually do usually want to test an emulator with a bunch of random sequences as well, in order to especially find crash bugs. But that's not really what I'm worried about at the moment, so would like to do something a little more directed. But yeah, there's a few things that I'm a little unsure about, particularly making the ROM. I don't know what's going to be the best way to do that. Probably just doing some packing by hand with the VB IDE or whatever it was. Because I need at least an assembler to be able to set everything up, and that at least includes one. I need to check on some licensing for like distributing builds of that, for example, because it might make sense to include the assembler in like a tests repo and then build everything there. Because at the same time, I also want to make it as minimal as possible, if possible. But at the same time, just dumping a binary blob and jumping into it, I don't think that's going to be too rough. Although I'm a little bit concerned with getting the actual register values, and that's also why I think I want to do some of this in assembler. But I could do a lot of it in inline assembler, so could figure some of that out. So yeah, so there's some details about actually building the ROM that I'm a bit unsure about, but I guess we'll see how it goes. Another thing that I might want to do is also generate some random like data that's going to be in RAM as the instructions do their thing, because they're going to want to read and write from RAM, and we want whatever's in RAM that they're going to read and write to be deterministic. So that's going to be important. Another thing that we might want to be careful about is like reading and writing register values, because that's going to introduce at least another layer of like timing problems and those kind of things. Like if it reads from certain registers, we're not going to want it to do that. So yet more reasons to take a pretty directed approach here. So that's what I'm thinking, and I'm thinking if worst case is it doesn't find anything, and then I can move on and sort of use this suite to also test, like I said, the floating point instructions, branches, lots of that kind of stuff. So it's something that should be able to grow if our needs, if we have sort of different specs as well. So that's more or less what I'm thinking. Yeah. So yeah, so I want to actually take a look in that VB IDE thing, and see what it has in terms of the actual toolchain, because I'm pretty sure it's the GCC VB toolchain, and if we have an assembler and perhaps a linker for that, then I think doing the test ROM in assembler is actually going to be the best way to do it, just to make sure that like there's no memory locations that are used up by variables, like just to kind of abstract, or not abstract, but to gain control of these things that the compiler normally abstracts from us. And plus, it's not going to be very big. So I think that this will actually make sense. May have to do some graphics conversion and stuff. I think this is going to be something that's going to take a little bit of time, but I think it's going to be worth it. So yeah, so I'm just digging in this folder right now. I don't really know what is where in here. It's probably going to be... I'm going to have everything in here already. Actually, let's just check the make files. Oh, cool, up. Yeah, I bet that wasn't the most comfortable thing to do. Let's see. I think when we run one of these or tests, yeah, there's no make file in here. We get that from the VBIDE thing. And I don't remember exactly where that was here. I don't think it's going to be in one of those. System, perhaps. Yeah, this make file here. Probably helpful. Okay, so it's in libs. Oh no, that's the libgcvb. Okay, so libgcvb path does have the compiler and stuff here. Well, yeah, so this is our, I guess, link script. I'm just guessing by the extension. And then the CRT0 is the sort of startup stuff. What's nice about this, though, that we should actually be able to glean most of the stuff we need here at V810 GC, V810 AS. Yeah, so I think this is how we're going to end up making this. The nice thing about this, too, is that when it's in assembler, then I can have like a separate command line tool to actually dump the big binary blob. So this should actually be fairly easy. Lux Online, so that's basically what I was gonna consider, but I think it's better to just do screen memory, because then we don't have to. It simplifies the bootstrapping process, and then it also works on the system. That was kind of a key to that approach, is that since it will output the display, then we can run it on the actual hardware, and then just the fact that it is in the display, we can just dump an image. So thinking it'll be the simplest. But I'm hoping that we can do GCCVB, because a lot of this is going to be like organizing everything so that it would be easy for someone to pull the repo and just get going. And I'm pretty sure, due to licensing, that we're not going to want to just put GCCVB into the repo. So I'm not too concerned about that, Lux Online. Like, if something like that happens, what's going to happen is our register values are going to be different. So that will be enough to catch that. And the nice thing about PNGs is that we'll always be able to read them. Like they'll be human readable, which is nice. I've totally done it before in the Super Nintendo stuff that I did, where I was doing the little preview. I don't know. It might seem a bit roundabout, but it actually does abstract away a lot of details that aren't going to be important for those kind of tests. So I think that's what I want to do. But I can't remember. I need to find where they distribute this GCCVB thing from. Okay, so they just distribute precompiled versions from Planet VB. Is there any other way that I can get at this? So this is just on the Planet VB thing -tools. Hey, Colin. Okay, so if this is up to date, I don't think this is. Pretty sure we have this later. But it's not really going to matter other than the fact that it's Windows only. I guess I'm not too concerned about that, though. But what is... Can we get a version from this? I mean, I'm guessing they just dumped this thing in the system here. V810. Yeah, it's all here, I guess. Because that's kind of what I'm wondering is, like, maybe in the news section they might have where this stuff is. Because it'd be nice to, for example, if I set it up to have a make file where it's just like, okay, on your end, you need to grab the GCCVB package and put it in this folder. I'm okay with that, as long as we can have nice directions on how to do that. So I think... Yeah, I think that'd be cool. But it seems like there's the view engine thing, but that's like the whole tool chain with VB-IDE. That's again just hosted here. I wanted to look at this Patreon thing to see if they have any additional links. Yeah, so that's still just hosted on Planet VB. And the idea thing seemed cool, but it was a huge download. I wasn't too concerned with having a proper IDE there. The Notepad++ build was fine for me. Okay, just to be sure though, did they ever do any... Oh, what is this actually? Okay, that's just someone else's test. If that were an official test, I'd be a lot more interested, to be honest. Yes, this is the last version of the view engine thing, and I think that was the same version that was mentioned here. Oops, I wanted the Patreon. Oh, that was it, actually. Because that's the thing. I would like to at least have a nice way to always find the latest. Okay, so this is 1.2.1 actually, which is a little bit newer. probably just pop on their Discord and ask. But I don't want to do that on the stream. So at least View Engine was on Bitbucket. Let's actually look at these. See if these mention anything about that. Heavily modified libgccvb. Yeah, Repnop, I think I'll skip that. I don't want to do my own assembler either. See 4.7 patch for Virtual Boy. I actually feel like I remember finding a GitHub for this. Hold up. It at least had the patch files. I think it was a binutils thing that he had. I kind of hate that this is all just kind of dug in here. But it wouldn't be the worst, actually. Perhaps have this as a submodule and just link against this stuff directly. Wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Yeah, that's exactly it, Dana Colin. Yeah, George Morgan, gonna get my own Virtual Boy binary. Trying to figure out where the assembler and stuff is so I can do my own makefile because I want to do this from assembler. Yes, there's the assembler, there's the linker. In fact, if that's the same ones the makefile use, that's going to be even better. There seem to be a few different binaries here floating around. 10AS. There's this LD param being used. There. So I don't think this will be too terrible. Oh yeah, and they just use obj dump to get this stuff out again. That's not too bad. I think we should be able to do this without too much effort. So these are libgccvb path. So we need to see where this comes from. Might be that these are going to be in the path before, before this gets invoked. We have dirs here. Right. Thanks for our parameters here. A lot of this we're going to get to ignore. But yeah, this V810-132 package looks like that's where we want to be. But that wouldn't be too bad, actually, if this were... I mean, it is a Git repo. I don't know if I want to... I guess I could have this as a submodule in a test repo. That should be okay. And then this is distributed under its own license, which should be fine. I think that's the way to do this. Although, yeah, so that, assuming that would work, then I can kind of hack it together locally and then find a nice way to distribute it and stuff, I think. I think that's where we want to be. And then we want to, I guess it's in bin here, and it's these guys. Yeah. Hopefully this would work. Wait, 00? Who knows? Probably has to work first. And we'll see if it's interesting that it uses Rust. All right, so I think we'll try this. I'm gonna make a separate fuzzing repo for this, just because I can sort of put it in with the testing repo and stuff later if I want. But for now, we'll do this. I'm also not gonna give it a license for now. I'm gonna figure all that out later. But yeah, let's do here VBRS. What I'm still working with here, or VB fuzzer. Oh, no, I didn't RevNop. That's cool. Yeah, that sounds great, Dino Colin. That's more or less what I want to do here, but I want to get a way to run it on the real hardware. Yeah, I'm just going to clone this here. I'll worry about getting this nice later. Also, this is probably going to be big. I just realized. That's some objects. Let's just see how long it says it'll take. Because I don't know if he packs like IDEA and stuff in here. Okay, this isn't too bad, actually. Well, this will vary a lot. So I guess we'll see. I can just grab the binaries I want for now, but I'm worried about distributing them. If I can have this as like a submodule, then it's nice. But I can't even find a license in here. So ideally, I want to make a makefile that sort of assumes that this would be a submodule and work with it that way. Maybe it's not the best idea to start with, though. So I can probably take the binaries I want for now. We'll get back to this. In any case, this V810-132 thing looks like it's the right place to grab that from. Let's see. BB fuzzer. So I'll just stick that there. Yeah, that's exactly it. So we'll do that. Let's get this in here. And then and away we go. This will take me a little bit to figure out, but I don't think it'll be too bad. Yeah, I also doubt that. Okay. Let's do or actually here, I want to do another folder in here. We can call this test ROM. Add our make file. Now, rather than just copying the one that they had here, it's got some extra stuff in it. So I think I'll steal parameters from that. I've actually really liked how I've done the stuff for like C64 and those things that I've done recently. This Witchcraft one should have something like that. Well, I won't be modifying it, move away. In fact, I won't even be linking to it. It's maybe not the best way to do this, but it's good enough. It'll do. Do S here. And the target is going to be a little different probably. Yeah, I'm not worried about using it. I'm worried about distributing it. And at least if I do it as a submodule, it kind of puts the burden on however they did it. Because I mean, it's a balance, because I want like someone to take my repo and just clone it and go. And a clone and a submodule update and go is not too bad. But I don't want to just pack it in the repo if I don't know the licensing details. So I think we want the ROM out of this. This stuff always takes me a bit to set this stuff up, but that's fine. I expected that this will take a while. Yeah, we want .vb. Hells yeah. I think we do AS is the, yeah, we're gonna call this AS. I think we also want, we'll do GCCVB, and in this case, I'll point it to, that'll be outside the ROM thing. No, it's a 2 there. No, it's outside the ROM directory, and then we're gonna do V810-132, and from there, this seems wrong to me. Did I grab the wrong one? No, it has actually been there. Something's weird. Anyway. So I think that's Maybe we want this. For that directory, and then we can do the other pieces here. Don't want .exe. I don't think we need it in this case. I think it'll work anyway. And we want LD as well. It is kind of annoying that this is going to be under Win32, but that is the only pre-built binaries we have here, so that's going to be fine. I should have LD. Cha. Shouldn't be too bad. And we're really only going to have the one source file, which is going to be this. Probably going to have something like that, I would imagine. We'll start with that. I guess it's just .o in this case. Let's see what this does with CRT0. Did it mention that anywhere? It doesn't. Maybe it just looks for that. Oh yeah, because it gives it this script here. I don't actually know how to read these, but I can't imagine copying a bunch of this will be too difficult. I don't know why this needs to generate an ELF binary. Maybe it's just so like bin utils and stuff can work on that nicely. I'm not really sure. Because that's not really what we need out of this. Okay, yes, it actually does obj copy binary out of main.elf. Maybe that's not too bad, actually. But it does seem a bit roundabout since we just have the assembler. Is it now? Feels like I can just do this out of the object file, though. I wouldn't need to output elf. This is the downside to always doing your own tools for this kind of stuff, is you don't really know how any of this works. Okay. Yeah, this is gonna take me a while, I think. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna learn a bunch of this. Not too worried about that. Okay, so this must just table here. How is it going to know where to put this vector here? Actually, just looking at these addresses, it might just be that it continues from wherever this is. Oh, it's here. Have section VB vectors here. And then if this knows where VB vectors is going to be, here. I don't know what this is. Sections here. Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. If you would, yeah, pull it all together in an ELF file and then just, yeah, binary dump the stuff out of that. That actually makes a lot of sense. In our case, I still think we can skip it. But yeah, that does actually make more sense why they would do that. So I'm only going to have this one file. And assuming that I can do ink bin from this, which I should be able to do, I think that's all we're going to need. Should simplify things a bit. Then again, if it's easier to just do more or less what this does, that wouldn't hurt either. Yeah, it's probably a good idea, Daniel Collin. Just compile the one file we have to ELF and then more or less copy what they have here. Probably a good way to get where I'm going. I mean, the right way to do this is to sit here and dig through the proper manuals. But just hacking this, I think, is going to be okay in the context of what we're doing. So let's just try that. Yeah, working our way there, Ace Cryon. That would probably take a little while. Yeah, maybe a bit bottom up the way I'm doing it here. I think this will work though. All right, so first thing we need is that ELF file then, right? And for this, oops. You do it that way, yeah. And here we need the project source. And yeah, especially in this case, we need to figure out how this is going to look. This is going faster than I thought, by the way. Yeah, I can probably do that, actually, to see how that goes if they're output. So the easier way to do that is in the VBDE project, because I don't know of any strict fully command line projects that are around here, but I should be able to, it should at least output what it's doing to some console. So let's pull that in. Sure, Mad Moose. Sure. All right, so this was the RegScope project we were looking at earlier. And just building this, I would imagine, would be enough. That's annoying. First, I want to clean this. Or at least change it. Should work. So the thing doesn't stick around. If that's something I can change here. Or if I can just like open up a terminal and do it myself, I'm not really sure. That's kind of one of the things I don't like about these kind of tools. That when you want to get at this stuff, it's not fun. You can look at these shortcuts though. What does it do? I don't know if they have one in the IDE. I want them to. But it seems to pull up, you guys can't see on the stream, but it seems to pull up a separate console window. That's kind of what it's always done. Which is good enough for just building stuff. But I would really like something where I can collect the output. Well. Yeah, probably is that. We can try this process monitor thing. No idea how to use that, but we'll figure that out too. Whoop. All right, so I'm hoping. Oh. It's freezing. All right, I don't want to show my process list. And of course, we can't order by process name either. Classic. Oh no, these are just events, aren't they? So maybe it's enough. Maybe it's enough if I just try this. Look at the events that come out. Oh, I need to set up a filter for it? Ugh, guys. Okay, that's not how I want to do this. I'm going to go back to just brute forcing it in the makefile, to be honest. I think I'll get there faster. Maybe I'm just perpetuating ignorance, but this is what I want to do. Yeah, I think it is spawning a command line process. Yeah, no worries, Dirt 2. I appreciate the help. So what's interesting here, yeah, it gives the LD param thing, which was the -lm thing. I mean, I'm not going to be using any libs, right? Yeah, it's also adding all these, which is really annoying. Actually, actually, that would at least make stuff more visible. But I would still have to catch it in time. But I think, what's this GCC no start file thing? Yeah, so we want that. So let's get my terminal into this thing. Whoops. I should be able to, but I don't know how it's getting the make file and all the context it needs to get there. I'm not really sure how it's invoking all of that. How it's invoking the command line. Otherwise, it should be possible to do that, but I think we'll just try this. So if we do I love how you say rip grep the folder. Important that I use rip grep specifically. I'm just saying. Did something like this. And we gave it the linker script, right? Nice finder or two. Okay, actually, maybe we will do this. This stuff is so boring, you guys. We don't have tools options, but we have settings preferences. Don't think that's what we wanted. Ugh. No worries, Repnop. I don't think it'll be that interesting, to be honest. Like, I don't think we'll get to the most interesting stuff today. Because I'm not in the mood for a several-hour stream. Where is this options things? Yeah, I'm not too worried about that, Taru. It's more just that I think it's boring. I'm long past trying to entertain you guys at this point. This is your funeral, as far as I'm concerned. I do appreciate the help, by the way, though. Yeah, I guess the dock is out of date, so it should match up with something here. Which I would have thought maybe it's shortcut mapper. No, because then we're back here again. This didn't seem to help much. Oh, that could be. Though we don't really have a project. Let me see. So what do we want to add here? We want to add... this would be... Like general should show line numbers according to this doc. It doesn't, but editing might display line number. Yes, it's got to be somewhere in here, right? And it had something called tools according to this doc. So any of these. Nothing. So we're looking for, would have said, would have been tools in one of these. It also says schemes. It's just file association. Language menu, not too interested in that. That's just tab spaces. Nothing interesting in print. Exciting times. I would have expected something like this would be nice. This seems to be more general plugins that's available through this package manager. There was this one here that was run, and we could modify these commands. But what was annoying is that, like, for example, this was the compile GCC VB. And we get the name of it and the shortcut, and that was it. Try modify shortcut delete macro. This is the same thing, isn't it? Totally is. I think that's just a UI to map different commands, but I can't get a list of what's there. Language will just change the language. View project? No. Ugh. This is why people don't make emulators, I think. All right. Anything I can do in here? What's debug info give me? Nothing. Top entry under run was just run. It just gives us this. Shortcut mapper. That's this again, isn't it? All right, I'm going to try and grep in this. Dude, too, I have totally done that before. But like I said, I have totally given up on trying to entertain you guys. And that's part of it. No, downloads VBDE. And somewhere in here, editors, Notepad++. Somewhere in here might be something interesting. Let's just grep, real grep, because I'm not cool enough, like all you Rust folks. Compile. Also, I'm bad at using grep, by the way. -nr. That's what I need, isn't it? Let's even do the proper quotes. And we'll do the current directory. Okay. Exactly, Drew. Okay, actually this was it though, because this totally gives us what we need. Compile GCVB, and here we have system batch build.bat with the current directory and the name part. Who knows what name part is? I mean, maybe it's the name of the current directory. That could make sense. Or the name of the current file. Although it's probably the name of the current directory because this did makes output.vb. Not entirely sure what that's about. Actually, I'm going to look at that. Notepad ++ name part. All right, yes, it's about the current session. And you get current directory. So yes, in this case, we're editing this file here. This was a good doc, by the way. Then we get current directory is this directory. Name part is the name of the file. Okay, this is actually good. Oh, man, you're so right, Daniel Cullen. I wish I would have thought of that earlier. Because I totally, like, I have the make file here, and I can't remember how I found it before. I think I just dug through the files. Like, that's what I've been copying from. Totally should have just added pause to one of these. That's so dumb. Totally did not think of that. Just to be clear, this ran, well, that's build.bat. Yeah, okay, that's actually what I should do in there instead of in the make file. This could do it in the make file too, but gonna make more sense there. So in that case, that's going to be in system batch, and then we should have build.bats. I'm just gonna nano that stuff. Yeah, so here does all this stuff. Yes, if it cannot be compiled, it does pause. Word up. This is so jank. And then we compile. All right, so now we get this. And now the issue is that all the stuff in the make file are. I don't know if you call this added, but it has that at prefix that hides the actual output. So what I want to do is get rid of these ones that just don't do crap and just show this stuff. Let's try that. All right, this starts to get more interesting. No start files, and then it had a bunch of this stuff. So, by the way, this main.o, where did I get that from? What's the store here? Okay. I mean, I'll keep this one. That's actually nice. In fact, I'll keep a couple of these that just say what it's doing. That's probably helpful. This gets a bit nicer. Bit bigger, because these output files are so ridiculous. That I can somewhat fix. You can just delete the builder. And away we go. Yeah, so now it's going to do a lot more work. But that's fine, because then we can sort of see what it did. All right. Yeah, this is better. This is better. Yeah, so for example, it builds, I don't know what this DD thing is. No default libs with this architecture. I'm guessing that's what M is. If I remember the what has your compiler done for you lately talk. That's what that M does. We don't care about a lot of this stuff because we're not actually going to be compiling anything. The include we don't need. We don't need these I things here for the include directories. And then we also don't need main.c, so we can ignore this entire thing here. I don't know what this DD thing or this D thing is. Let's just see what some of these other things are doing. Yeah, a lot of stuff for like the font. It'd be nice if we get a hold of like CRT0, see what it does with that, because that's what we sort of care most about. So here it finally does the main.elf thing, and it just includes all these .o files, which is what we expect to see here. Okay, yeah, so there's CRT0.o. So presumably one of these is going to actually output that. Now I would assume it's using AS for that. And I also assume that it was built before that line. Got some warnings in there. So right now I'm just kind of looking for V810 GCC. Oh yeah, that could definitely be the bug symbols. But yeah, if I see V810-AS, that might be a quick way to identify that. Otherwise, you know, I'm just going to copy this and start searching. All right, let's get all this. And of course, that didn't copy. I didn't just close that, did I? Oh no, it's this big white one here. Get all this. And I think it's some dumb here. Edit, copy. That's great. CRT0. Yeah, you're right. It was way down there. Yeah, and here it is, V810-AS. Perfect. Okay, so this actually makes it a lot easier because we basically have, add some spaces here. We have this, so we're gonna use V810-AS to assemble this file, and that's going to output crt0.o, and then here it's going to link the elf file here, and then finally it does an obj copy of the binary into the output. Very nice, that's helpful. Yeah, Drew, exactly. Would have been even more painful without that. So I don't know what a lot of these things here do either. This -lm LD script, but we can do this piecewise. Particularly, we'll do this. Start with just this step here. And I think of course, Daniel Cullen. So many of these things that I just never remember. Yeah. I think it'll be easier if we do this. We'll get to this one. We'll start with this. Looks like we weren't going to use LD, actually. So we should be able to do AS and then more or less copy this stuff. So we're going to do -O and then product O. And the input file. Easy. This was the better way to do this, by the way. So thanks, guys, for the help and tips. And that, assuming we actually make this file, that should be enough to start. Let's do that. Testrom.s. And here. Let's see. Hail, comma. So AX, are these the, let's see, AS section directive. Using AS assembler directives. Here we go. I mean, like now we're getting to where I'm starting to get comfortable. Because the experience I lack here is in these tools, I think. More than anything else. And the nice part is that's the easier stuff to pick up. Let's do dot section. All right, so we have a name and then the flags. And the flags here, we have executable section. And then what was A? Optional flags, allocatable. I don't really know what that means in the context of this, but we'll just copy both. We definitely want it to be executable. do the same alignment here too. Why not? And something like this. I also am a fan of doing this stuff. I'll call this vectors because I'm a hipster like that. I agree with Daniel Collin on this one, by the way. Drew 2, I'll tell you what I'm reading to fall asleep. Because I was in the US and I got a bunch of my stuff from when I moved. Heyo! This is the Commodore 64 Programmer's Reference Guide. I bought this when I was probably 18 to go along with the C64 that I bought. And it's, oh, this is such a great book. This, by the way, is literally nerd porn. At the end of this, there is, you guys probably can't see it, but there is a fold-out schematic. Yeah, I probably can't see any of that. But yeah, fold-out schematic of the actual computer. It's an awesome book, and I got it used, so it's kind of beat up, but it kind of adds to the character. And if I can find it, there's a bunch of like highlighted and underlined text in here from the original owner. Like here, there's a bunch of just like written in, I probably still can't see that. Written in pen, they just like underlined a bunch of stuff. And I just think that's so cool. So I really like this. Just the coolest thing to have. Oh, that's awesome, Alkama. Yeah, sorry, Drew, too. Guess you need a breadboard keyboard now. Or bread bin keyboard. There we go. Which you can get a hold of soon. Because the C64 Ultimate is going to come out. I have a weekly Slack reminder to go check it out. So what I'm hoping here is that I can just like dump some stuff in here and just see it come out. What kind of things we have here? Let's do this. Do ASCII. Ferris rules. Yeah, that'll work. just to make it not an empty section, because I just want to see what would come out of this. By the way, my checkout is done. That's actually cool. Where's my different files here? Yeah, I couldn't find V810AS. Yeah, because that should have been bin V810AS. Yeah. Heyo, we have a test.rom.o file. Straight to the hex editor. This is where things get interesting. Maybe. I don't know. Bam. This looks good. We should have a section called vectors with Ferris rules in it. Yeah, so here's our section information. And then here's our data for our section. That's pretty cool. And a lot of other crap. It's elf already. That's kind of funny. So I'm wondering actually if I can just take this as is and see if I can dump a binary from it. I may not be able to though. Just may need to like specify all this stuff. So that probably wouldn't work. Oh, that's annoying, localhoster. That's super annoying. Hi, by the way. Yeah, so I guess this is the memory map. 5th RAM. I guess these again are flags for what this is. This is the kind of stuff I like. Like, this is nice and easy to understand. I don't know what this stuff is, the VMA stuff here. But I wouldn't be terribly surprised if that's just some addresses here. Like, I want to look at text VMA. I wonder if this is where it like inlines the stuff here. Inlines the data from the other sections. Because if that's like what this is telling everything to go into, that would make a lot of sense. Like here's... Okay, so actually, so this is just a variable here, which is just the origin ROM here. And I guess you have that here, origin and length of this. So we can take the origin of the ROM, for example, and then we get text VMA. And here we can say the text section is here. And then I don't know what this is. This is probably putting in the contents of that section in this section here or something. Not really sure. Yeah, this section at this address. Interesting. I don't know what it's trying to do here at all. So in either case, this stuff is going to make sense. We're going to want this output thing here. Because I'm guessing what this does, it specifies this and why this is commented. I'm guessing it specifies this and then somehow knows it's elf, and then the actual output argument provided to GCC will overwrite the file name. But this is probably somehow needed to force the format. I even have the entry here. Right, because of course, because the elf needs to actually the elf binary needs to specify that. I guess you wouldn't need that. So, like, we're gonna do a binary dump from there anyway, but yeah. I like this comment, by the way. I don't know why I think that's really funny. What I do. Oh, that could be Alcama. I don't know what this TP thing is. Yeah, in case you didn't know. This must have said something else before. And they changed it in some version. That comment's probably left over. I guess the dot, judging by these things, dot must be wherever the current cursor is. Because it looks like you name a section here. Say its starting address optionally, otherwise it'll go from where it is. I don't know what this is, but maybe this is like to pad it with this byte or something. Probably just gonna copy a bunch of this, but I think it's fun to read through. The dot product will make you happy. Yeah, and then this is where the data section is going to be. Although it's a bit weird because this would be uninitialized data if it's going to start at RAM. So that's a bit odd. It's like the BSS should be here for sure. I mean, this just looks like a big old script just to place everything in memory. Yeah. Scene in jokes. The nichest of the niche. .NET's okay. Also, RAM memory makes me laugh. On the inside. That's why I'm not laughing. So I just think a lot of this we don't need. And I'm still not sure what all this is for. Still not sure. I don't know why you need this keep thing here either. Oh, it does say this promotes dot to a power of 2. I don't know, it seems really weird. Yeah. These shaders are pretty crazy. Like script can be a Zelda programming language. All right, but I think I'm just gonna start copying some stuff from here, to be honest. Ayo. And then this is gonna... We'll get to that, actually, because this will do this stuff, because we'll have the project elf. Well, it makes sense that they'd be here in addition to OS bootloaders, because we are making an actual binary image, so you'd want to have this kind of control over this. Yeah, you're probably right, Colin. Let's do project O. And here we can do. Also, we need our phony targets and stuff before I forget. Let's do it this way. Let's do all for now. Although for now it'll be this. And then this needs the link script. I'll call this linker script. Linker script. So we're back here. Dash O main elf. The main elf, not the bottom elf. And then we need all the we need no start files for sure. And we should just need the CRT thing, or in our case, our similar thing. And we don't need this that math library here. Not gonna need that, so it should just be this then. And then we do need to do, I guess, dash T and is the linker script here. Not too bad. And for now, let's just copy this. See what happens. Cannot find entry symbol start defaulting to 07 whatever. That's actually awesome that it did that, by the way. So now we have an elf file. I always like to look at the binaries here. But yeah, that output made me really happy. Not only should it have definitely told me that, but that is a great default. Way better than expected. Of course, our section here is only going to contain Ferris rules, which is not going to do what we want. But that's fine. And the last thing is, let's try just getting the binary from this. Project target. So we're going to need the project elf. And then we're going to make the target our target for all. And here, we're going to do obj copy. No. We need this. Probably going to be it. Dash big O binary. And the input and output. By the way, totally wanted this stuff in the build directory. And we'll get to why in a sec. Yeah, that's why I'm 00. Just because I didn't write it right. Okay, so now it couldn't create build. Yes, we need the directories as well, and that's fine because we can just do something like this. Oh yeah, we need to actually tell it how to make those durs. I always do this, just copy a bunch of bits from different makefiles and stuff. It's fine. Hey, we need this is what we need. Whoa. Whoa. Yay. We got a binary. It doesn't have crap in it right now. Okay, that makes me happy. And while we're at it, let's go ahead and do clean here, which should actually just remove the builder. Clean here. And I didn't specify RM or RM flags. Did I? Sure is. Because I just deleted it. Make clean works. Make works. Make again works. Well, we did it. That is the complete opposite of crap. I think this binary is crap, but I don't think it's full of crap. I'm the opposite, actually, where I am crap, but I'm not full. No, I'm not crap, but never mind. Focus, focus. Yes, Daniel Collin, that was exactly what I was thinking. Or would have been if I could focus. Jasper Pinna, thanks for the follow. So what was the return opcode in this one? Right, I is return from exception. So I don't think we want return, actually, because we didn't specify like the reset vectors or anything. So that would actually be a problem. This I probably no longer need, actually. I will keep it open for now, but I don't think I need that. Because this script here, it's going to look for the VB vectors. And it does need those, some certain things at some certain places. I don't think having start is going to be enough here. Yeah, definitely my focus angel in this episode. Because this is the start code we want here. And it even fills that. That's nice. Bunch of these interrupt tables. I mean, really, though, we just need this one a bunch of times for all the different exceptions. So this is where it gets the vectors, and then it's just going to start with like ROM title and stuff. Let's just copy some of this, because I think That was the other thing. We'll call this VB vectors in order to not change the linker script. And this guy. I'm going to copy this, but I'm just going to replace a bunch of these, I think. And then if we have start, things will make sense. Because this should not assemble if I fill this out how I want to. Unused vectors need to have ret I. This is what I'm thinking here. Just replace all of these here with this. Since they all have the same alignment, that should work. And then we need start. And that'll be part of our text section. We're going to do that here. I forgot about all this crap. That's going to be fun. Also, shout outs to Sublime for fixing all of my indentation to be spaces, which are undoubtedly superior and the right way to do this. So here, I think if I just do, isn't it just jump? Or was that a branch always that makes it? I don't remember. Let's just try it. Let's just try to jump start. Jump start. It took me a minute to realize why you guys said blasphemy and war. Now I realize. It's because I mentioned indentation. No, you guys can be as fired up as you want. I mean, you can also be as wrong as you want. Okay. So first of all, it didn't like that I didn't have a new line here. That's cute. Now it doesn't like invalid register name. Oh, can I not just jump like that? Can I branch to just an address? I don't remember the instruction set for this CPU at all. That's totally the difference right there between having read it like to some degree and never having written it. Is that I just do not know how this is gonna work. Actually, though, why don't I just copy what I did here? And it's just gonna jump over and over again. That should be fine. Yeah. So that looks like it produced something. The something is exactly 1K large. If we look at this, we have what looks like opcodes. Deathride71, thanks for the follow. Here's our binary title. And at the end of all this, here's all our vectors. And at the end of this, looks like some more code that matches what's up here. This looks perfect, you guys. Now the real test. Open up a new terminal for that. VB fuzzer build. Oh no, we want test rom build test rom.vb. So I don't want to use the BG color yet. Because I need, like, there's a bunch of RAM setup and display setup we need. So what I'm going to start with is our little debugger here, which, why didn't that come up? Oh yeah, now it goes here. Guys, check that out. Step, 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 step. This is perfect. This is exactly the code we wanted to see. It works. It works. That's actually really cool. Cool. Mr. Liquid, yeah, that's basically it. To generate some random instruction streams. Set the registers to known values, run the instruction stream, dump the registers to the screen, and be able to look at that on the hardware and in the emulator until we find something that goes wrong. That's the idea. And now that we have a test ROM that's made in assembler, that should help us build exactly the tests that we need. Cool. I think this is a great stopping point for now. So I'm going to head out. Thanks, guys, again for hanging out as usual, and really appreciate the extra help trying to get this working, especially Daniel Collin, Drew, too, a couple of you other guys. Really cool that we got this working. This is... Daniel Collin could totally call some assembly code from C. I'm a little worried about like saving and restoring the register values though, and like some, yeah, just worried about a lot of that kind of stuff. But I think this will be fine because there shouldn't be too much that we have to do, and I'd rather just do an assembler. But yeah, thanks again for the help. This is pretty cool. I think I'm not going to worry about putting this together into a proper repo this time. I'll worry about that later when we start getting this working. Not now, Mr. Liquid. Not now. But yeah, I think this was cool. And it feels good to actually have a binary. So yeah, thanks again, guys, and I will see you next time.